Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul, and I am a nerd, and you are looking at my screen for the February 2014 Worldox Virtual User Group meeting. And today we are talking about help, how to use help in Worldox, how to get all that you can out of what's there from a help standpoint. Mary Jo is going to talk about that. And I'm going to talk about the PracticeMaster enhancements that were introduced with the latest release of PracticeMaster to strengthen and tighten the integration between PracticeMaster and Worldox. But before we do that, you're looking now at a screen that represents what you would see on your screen. This is the GoToWebinar control panel, and it is used to communicate with us. But the most important thing to know about it is that if you do not see all of my screen underneath this box here, that you can then click these buttons that look, this button that looks like arrows pointing to the right that you see to the left here, and they will, this button will cause this box here to slide out of the way. When you do that, this button will change into an icon that looks more like arrows pointing to the left. Clicking it again will cause this box to slide back into focus. You would do that if you're feeling shy, but you do have a question. Questions can be typed here, and when you type a question and hit the send button, it will appear on the screen of our humble moderator, Leanne, who will interrupt Mary Jo or myself at the opportune time and will ask your question on your behalf. If you are not feeling shy and you have a question, please take advantage of this button here, because nobody ever does, and raise your hand. That's what that means. The hand with the arrow pointing upwards in front of it, that is raising your hand. Leanne will again notice, but this time instead of interrupting to read your question, she will interrupt Mary Jo or myself so that she can unmute you and let you ask your own question. So remember, if we don't answer your question fully, or we're headed in the wrong direction, or if you think of a follow-up question while we're answering your question, do not hesitate to continue talking to us if you've raised your hand and been unmuted, or to continue typing questions here, remembering along the way to hit send, and therefore getting that message through to Leanne so that she can give it to us. So without any further ado, I'm going to press the magic buttons here that will take me over to Worldox. I'm going to tell Mary Jo that she should wiggle her mouse for a couple seconds, because I'm going to make sure that I didn't give it to Leanne but did give it to Mary Jo. Wiggle again, Mary Jo. Nope, see, I'm going to have to click here and here and here and here and here, and now wiggle it, Mary Jo. Oh, seriously? You know, is this a good time to admit that I hate computers? Okay, there's that. And hold on, don't do it yet. And there's that. Okay, wiggle one more time, Mary Jo. Haha, there we go. Okay, Mary Jo, take it away. Tell us about help.
I'm alive. Okay, I'm going to talk about help in Worldox. And I understand that help in Worldox is a little bit confusing sometimes, hard to navigate, especially if you're used to help like in one of our other programs that we support, like PracticeMaster or Tabs, where you're used to being able to search and do things relatively quickly. There is help in Worldox, but I think trying to figure out where it is and how to navigate it, it gets a little confusing. So I'm going to try to help with that today a little bit and show you where you can go, how to search through the help, how to find some of the things that you're looking for. We do have a help button up at the top, and if you click on that, there's a did you know and there's a contents. So let's start with the did you know. The did you know just has like a tip of the day kind of a thing. There's different tips in here that you can just flip through and say next tip, next tip, next tip. It's not searchable. You're not going to find something just by, you know, a certain topic. It's going to be whatever that tip happens to be. You can flip through them and find all of them if you'd like, but it's not something you're just going to go in and say, I want to know how to do this, and find it. So that's available, and it does have just some of the most common questions that you would probably ask or want to know about in Worldox. And every time you click the next tip, it's going to give you something else. Again, just basic kind of things that you can go in and look at. But to find some actual Help. If you go under Help and you do the contents, there is some information here. You have the What's New in GX3 section, how Worldox works. This is going to be where you get the quick overview. There are some Worldox basics, some access, how to log in, start up, and etc. Productivity Suite only things in here. So if you have the Productivity Suite version of Worldox, you can come in here and see some of the things that are specific for that. There are some guided tours. So if you don't know what something does on a certain screen, you can actually click in here and it will tell you what each part of a screen is going to do when you click on it. There are another index of screens and dialogues. There's some support options. If you have to call tech support for whatever reason, or you want to try to access the knowledge base. I will tell you the knowledge base is a little difficult to navigate if you're not sure what you're looking for. And then they have the Contact Us. And then the most important that we're going to talk about is the how-to videos down here. Those are very helpful if you want to go in and watch an actual video on a certain topic. I think that there's over 60 of them in there or something. So those are searchable by topic as well, and you can watch a quick video. In addition to these help features, there's also some manuals that actually come with the software. They're loaded in the Worldox folder, and we'll talk about where those are as well. So the first thing, what's new in GX3, when you click on that, it's going to show you all of the new features that have come out since GX2. Now, GX3 has been out for a little while, so these aren't necessarily new anymore, but there is a lot of information that you might find in here about some specific features in the version that you have. So if you're in GX3, you'll be able to see this, even though you might have been in GX3 for a year or so. This is in here and it's available. Again, you can look at some of the different topics and find out. If you don't know what a legal hold is, you can click on this. It will take you into some specific information on what legal hold is and what it does. So that's a good place to find some things that are new. The other things here, how Worldox works. This just gives you a simple overview of what Worldox is, what the whole idea about saving documents are, how it's going to do it, some key concepts. And again, everything inside of here is clickable, so you can go in and find a certain thing that you want to learn about, and you can click on it and find some more information. So this is usually, just some of the key things that you might need to know. On the Worldox Basics, this is where I seem to find a lot of the information that I want to know about on help. Work lists, opening documents, searching, copying and moving files. This is kind of the meat, I think, and this is where you're going to find a lot of your questions and you can answer the things in here. All about versioning, about sending files somewhere else, how to relate files. All of these things are under this list, under the Worldox Basics. So again, you can click on each one of these and get some further information on all those different sections. The access, this is how you're going to find out about logging in, starting up, if you're in another application, how to do an open and get into Worldox. All of that information will be under that section. The Productivity Suite, like I said, these are going to be just specific features for Productivity Suite. If you don't have the Productivity Suite module, this doesn't apply to you. But if you do, you might want to know a little bit more about workflows, the chat feature, how to notify, all those different things here, the PDF docs and compare docs features. So here's a couple of things just specific for that. The guided tours. This kind of gives you a screenshot. So if we just go to the main application window, it gives me a screenshot of what that main window when I come into Worldox looks like, and then it actually breaks it down so that I can see, if I click on a certain part of it, direct access, what is that? It kind of pops up a little thing. Well, this is actually about the toolbar, very general of what's up at the top, just by clicking on different areas of the screen. So if I come down and click at the bottom, it's going to tell me about the additional detail tabs that we have. So it's pretty basic on this one. You might not find some in-depth questions, but just to navigate and find out what these different sections of the screen are, this is a good place to find that. Let me go back. And there's other screens there that you can go down into and get that information. The index of screens and dialogues, this is going to give you, again, different things that you can click on if you're getting some messages or what they mean. If we have a bookmark dialogue, it's going to tell you what that looks like, you know, what is going to pop up if you're going to create a bookmark, things like that. And that's, again, on all different topics in Worldox. So you find what you want to do, and maybe a box is popping up and you're not sure what it means or what you're supposed to choose. This is a good place to find what you're doing and then find out what that dialog box is and what it means. And then support options, this is where you can contact tech support. They have their number here for you to contact. You can email tech support. And again, I find emailing sometimes is, I'll get a faster response. If I'm having an error or something is happening that I don't understand, if I email support@worldox.com, I tend to get an answer within, I don't know, 15 minutes, a half hour. If I call, a tech will always call me back, but it might not be for a little bit longer. It'll be when the next available tech is open. So I tend to seem to get a quicker response from support@worldox.com. And I was told by one of the techs that they actually, while they're like waiting or on hold with a customer or whatever, they actually are looking at these so that they're a little faster to reply. So you can also look at some other information in the knowledge base. They have a new customer portal. There's all kinds of different places to get help through their support section. And of course, Paul and I are always available as well. And a lot of times we'll be the go-between. If we need to bring in a Worldox tech for whatever reason, sometimes we can get in there and we can ask the right questions and get them connected either to you or through us onto your machine very quickly. So, and then the last thing down here is the Worldox how-to videos. These how-to videos, if you click on here, there are several. Like I said, I want to say that there's over 60, 66. I can't remember the total that they're up to now. But you actually can search different topics. There are several of them that you can choose from. And you can watch a quick video on how to do something, whether it's profiling a document or trying to figure out what you're doing on a certain screen. Any of those things you can find in here to watch the videos. They're also, it's funny, but they, oops, I don't want to do that. There is a, get back to my screen here, in my help screen. There's actually help about the help video. So if you don't know how to use the help video menu, there's actually details here on how to use the how-to videos. So that's available too.
Is that a video?
I don't know. Probably. Try a video on how to use the how-to videos. But you can click there. So there's a lot of things under that help screen that get you into specific areas that you can search. The other thing that you can do, I clicked on help up here, and you can see that there's a did you know icon on the toolbar. That's a quick shortcut to that. But you also could put a shortcut to the help, the contents, just by right-clicking and adding a button. Whoops, I guess you're just clicking there. There we go. Append the button and then the help. So we could add the contents button right up here, and then I've got the contents. And then I can actually search that by when I click on it. Whoops, if I can get into it. It'll actually take me in so that I can get into the help. One other thing that I told you, that the admin guides and the other guides that come with the program, a lot of people don't know about these as well. So you're trying to set up something, you know, whatever it may be, and you want to try to figure out how to, I don't know, put a doc stamp on or whatever it is. Under the, I'm going to kind of navigate out to ours, but it'll be out onto wherever the Worldox folder is, whatever drive you've got Worldox stored on. It's going to be actually the Worldox folder. And once you get into that Worldox folder, there are,
I'll do it.
Thank you, Paul. I don't have to double click. There is a guides folder. And once you get into the guides folder, there is a configuration and admin guide. And there's 3 versions. There's volume 1, 2, and 3. So you might not always find what you're looking for in volume 1, and you might have to go to volume 2, but it's a PDF document, so you can search it. So if I were, like my example of doc stamping, if I want to know what all the different versions of a doc stamp are, or what I have to do, I could go into one of the volumes, click in doc stamping, and it will tell me if there's any instances found. If not, I'll go to volume 2, volume 3, whichever one it's in. There is tables of contents in each one as well, but those are available if you feel comfortable going into those and looking at that information. There's also some other documentation in that guides folder. So if you use ScanSnap, there's actually an integration guide for ScanSnap. There's productivity suite guides, setup and user guides. So there's all kinds of other things in here that you may be able to open, search, and find what you're looking for to do whatever task it is at hand. So those are quite a few ways to get some Worldox help. Sometimes a little tricky to navigate, but once you figure it out, you can find just about any of the topics. And if you can't, Paul and I are here, or Worldox Tech Support is available to answer questions as well. Any questions?
Speaking of questions.
Yes, there are no questions right now.
All right, I'll send it over to you, Paul.
Well, I'm going to talk about things that have changed since PracticeMaster released version 17. And I'm going to start with the boring stuff. I'm going to go over here to PracticeMaster and go to my Maintenance and Integration and Worldox Integration screen. Just for those who are watching at home, Maintenance, Integration, Worldox Integration. Now, I'm going to point out two things that have changed here. Well, three, actually. One, we now have the ability to support multiple profile groups and then assign a user to a specific profile group. In the past, PracticeMaster could integrate with one of Worldox's profile groups, and that was usually what we call client files. You're probably all pretty familiar with that if you're using PracticeMaster, or if you're using Worldox, that's the kind of the out-of-the-box client matter profile group. But we have some clients that have very distinct and very separate departments. For instance, we have one client that has a foreclosure department that's almost in a separate office, and a debt collection department that's in a separate room that nobody else goes into. And then we have a couple lawyers at that firm that do general practice. So they have three different profile groups that apply to them. They have a very specific foreclosure profile group, they have a very specific debt collection profile group, and then they have their regular client matter profile group, just like the one that most of our users are using. So what they do is they set up those three profile groups all to integrate with PracticeMaster, not just one like you could in the past. Now you can integrate all three, and then they're able to go into each user's PracticeMaster and identify which profile group that user interacts with. So if we're setting it up for PracticeMaster to integrate with Worldox at a foreclosure employee's workstation, then we set it up to integrate with the foreclosure profile group. If we're at a debt collection user's desktop, we set up to integrate with debt collection, and if we're at one of the regular attorneys' desktops, we set them up to integrate with the regular client matter. So that's kind of cool, very useful in those instances, but the bulk of our clients don't have more than one profile group that they'd want to integrate with, so not all that exciting to them, I suppose. This is kind of cool. Most of our clients don't see this because in the past it's been so very difficult to get set right. But when we first integrate you with Worldox from PracticeMaster, we run something that takes all your clients and matters and kind of dumps them off into a certain file, and then we import that into Worldox, and that's how all your clients and matters get into Worldox to start. It used to be that if Worldox and PracticeMaster for some reason got out of sync, because once we've done that initial integration, every time you add a client or every time you add a matter to PracticeMaster, it should automatically go over to Worldox. But if for some reason that integration isn't working at the time that you enter a matter, they need to be put back in sync. It used to be that we had to rerun this export and import, and it was kind of nerdy, and it was usually something our clients would not do by themselves. Now, all you do is click this button, and it will update the field tables that in Worldox identify your clients and matters and get them back in sync. You don't have to export anything from PracticeMaster. You don't have to import anything into Worldox. It just happens. And then the last thing that's kind of cool in this part of the enhanced integration is that we can now have a custom Worldox search template for each user if we wanted. Again, back before version 17, there was one way that you would integrate Worldox and PracticeMaster for searching, so that it would come up a certain way when you click on Display Worldox Documents. What's happening in the background or under the engine, under the hood, is that it's actually going out and using a specific search template to go find the appropriate client matter files. You can have a different search template being used for each user in the firm. So one person may want to go straight to a certain type of document. Another one may want to use a search template that pulls up that client's files but includes archive, because out of the box normally it wouldn't include that. So that's kind of cool. We have the ability to have each individual user have their own search preferences for when you click on that Display Worldox Documents button. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about is how that stuff applies over here, meaning there also are some new things in Worldox that can be done with PracticeMaster. You can click on an email or a document or a PDF, anything, and from that document, because it already knows who the client and who the matter is, you can create a calendar record or a fee record or a journal record. So you can go and say, well, I want to bill for this email. Click Create Fee Record. It opens up a PracticeMaster fee window. It already knows who the client is because that happens to be, and we'll go back there, this happens to be a Purdue Law Office's document. So it's already all set to create a fee entry for Purdue Law Offices. And we can even set up some convert to fee settings that will automatically pull in a default minimum hours, pull in some default description, preparation of document, review of email, whatever it is that you want. And so many of you are already doing this with Outlook. In other words, in Outlook you can also take an email and convert it to a fee. You can convert it into a journal record, and you can create a calendar record. If that email that you're looking at in Worldox, this one for instance talks about my next visit to Purdue Law Offices, I could get this reply back and look at it and say, oh yeah, I'm going to be there next Friday, and I could create a calendar record from it directly. The other thing that you can do here is you can open the Matter Manager. I am in Purdue Law Offices, a listing of their documents. If I click on Open Matter Manager, it takes me straight into PracticeMaster and pulls up the Matter Manager for Purdue Law Offices. Very cool. So we've added some functionality that wasn't there that, didn't mean to click that, some functionality that wasn't there that was there in Outlook but is now there also for your documents and emails and PDFs and everything in Worldox. That would be these first three items. And then this one isn't in Outlook. It's kind of cool. You can be hovering over an email or a document or a PDF or a Word file and click Open Matter Manager, and it will take you to that client's Matter Manager screen in PracticeMaster.
Paul, I just want to add one thing. If you are journaling, or I'm sorry, saving all of your emails in Worldox, like you get in that habit of doing, but you still want to build that create fee record is huge, because I don't know, I've just really started to try to buckle down and save all of my emails in Worldox, and I can't tell you how many times I've forgotten it, and I moved it to Worldox before I billed for it, and I couldn't bill. So I'm like, oh no, I'm used to billing from Outlook, and I couldn't. So now having this in Worldox is wonderful, because I can just go open it in there and bill it from there.
That's a good point. I never thought of that. That's a good application, because you're right. I preach the move it to Worldox, don't copy it to Worldox, but then often you'll go, oh, I forgot to do that, or I need to go back to that email and bill for it. And this allows you to do it right from there. That's very cool. Leanne, do we have any questions on that?
No, no questions.
Awesome. Well, that either means everybody's asleep after their lunch, or we are doing a good job of explaining what we're supposed to be explaining. So we'll go with the latter. That's the second thing, right, Mary Jo? Okay. Next month we are going to be talking about relationships. Not those relationships. This is relationships between documents. Sometimes you'll have one document that has several sub-documents, other documents that are related to it. And there is a way in Worldox to tie them together. And I know you may be thinking, well, you could use projects perhaps, or maybe they're all with the same matter. Well, sometimes they're not. And sometimes the best way to relate them together is to simply build this relationship structure. Mary Jo's going to tell you all about that, and I am going to tell you all about the viewer. Maybe you don't even know it, but there's this button that'll let you look at something without opening it up, without having to go and actually open it up and look at it. And so I'm going to show you all the intricacies of how to get around the viewer and how to move from one item to another and all those good things. So everybody have a good rest of the day, a good rest of the month, and we will see you next month when we talk about relationships and viewers. Have a good day. Bye-bye.